Thanks very much. Sorry, my voice is a bit croaky, but look, I won't keep you all very long. I'm quite excited to be up here. I have worked with Wholesale Investor for a long time on another business that I recently exited, and I'm very excited to actually launch this today. So been working on this for quite a while, and really excited about the opportunity that this new platform does provide. So I just wanted to start with something that I'm going to probably mention a number of times, deferred consideration. If anyone doesn't know what deferred consideration, when you sell a business, deferred consideration is the amount that you will get at a future date. And then the concept of having a surety against that. So exactly how it sounds is almost like insurance against the deferred consideration. So here we go. The grey tsunami, as it's been termed. There is a huge issue. There's a huge thematic that's going to run through the world over the next 10 years, which is baby boomers retiring, and what happens to those businesses. So 90% of the people in Australia are employed by SMEs. So what is going to happen to those businesses? So we've got I can give you a few stats here that I do have. What have we got? There's 100 million SMEs globally, 125 trillion enterprise value, and 99% of those companies are 1 to 2 owners. In Australia, NAB just put out a report, it was about 2 months ago. There's 350,000 companies in Australia that need to transition ownership in the next 10 years. Who's going to buy them? How are they going to do that? So the question is, what's going to happen? So this isn't just, something that I see as an issue, but government sees as an issue, everyone sees as an issue. So what are we going to do about it? So I've partnered with a firm over in the UK called Valloop. Now, where we're targeting is really helping employees transition from employees to owners. So what are we sort of focusing on? We're focusing on management buyouts, giving employees who normally wouldn't have that opportunity to own a company that chance. So when you look at any sort of business that we would have seen, your fish and chip shop, I was speaking to someone before about hotels. I've been talking to a guy who has a tyre business. What happens to those businesses when the owner wants to retire? Goes to private equity. If you're not within a certain band and you don't have a growth profile that they really want, where do you go? So the natural buyers are employees. So employees come in, they take over the company. What we are doing is providing the surety to the owner that they will get paid. That's what we do. We provide a surety. So we've built a platform. It's 120 questions. It's not, it's not too bad, but it goes in stages, goes through a whole lot of different questions to, first of all, say, look at the business and is it financially viable and does it have a steady EBITDA and things like that. But also, does it have the culture? Does it have the key elements that it takes for a succession in a business? So getting through that gives us the tick. And from that, we can provide a surety against the purchase. So what we're really trying to do, the term don't sell out, sell in. We're keeping owner's legacy. So not only, does the owner, they can have some input, they can really see that the business is still thriving. And why does every business need to go from a 2 million EBITDA up to a 10? You can still make a lot of money out of a 2 million EBITDA business that just continues going along. But that profile isn't very attractive to a lot of people. But hang on, you've got management in there who have, unfortunately, in this country, massive mortgages. They can't go to a bank and borrow money to buy that business. But if it's a good little business, and we're talking between enterprise value between 5 and 150 million. So we're not talking about tiny businesses either. Means that the management can come in, run that business, and they can potentially have that equity ownership that they never thought possible. The government profits because these businesses aren't just shutting down. So it's, as I've said, it's a win-win-win-win. No one loses out of the transaction. And so for me, that is hugely, hugely exciting. I have to say this is the first time I've given this presentation, so I have to refer back to the slide to see actually what I'm talking about. As we can see here, you know, what we're doing is also reducing the complexity. Being able to go in for a simple, I think we're charging $50, to go in and see your business readiness, whether the business is actually ready to be able to make a step into employee ownership. But we're not also focusing, and it's something that I think it might be even on the next slide. We don't just say that the management get it. We make sure that there's an ESOP plan in place for all employees to benefit, which again gives the employees an opportunity they never thought they were going to have. And by reducing this complexity of going through private equity and there's a lot of people out there, and good luck to them, and we'll actually even partner. I've got a lot of friends who have had an exit on something, go, I want to go and help a business, and, little micro private equity plays because they see huge benefit. We can come in there as well anyway. It's not like we need to do everything. We want everyone to be inclusive in the transition of the business from where it is to the next rung. And we're not going to sit there and say that owners have to spend 5 years and it has to be a 10% per annum IRR or 20 or 30. Business can go along the path it has. Technically, and even go down a little bit. But we'll assist them in that transition from from one owner to the next. And as I said, owners, everyone wins. I mean, an owner is guaranteed that they're going to get that price. Might take a few years, but when you're either shutting it down or guaranteeing yourself an exit, it can be quite attractive, I think. So we used AI, as everyone does, but we've spent a lot of money building this platform. And, I think the complexity has been taken out. And now we have a real opportunity to help hundreds, if not thousands, of businesses globally in that transition. Why am I up here? Well, I just want to start spreading the word. I don't want to raise money. I'm not doing anything like that. If you guys, a lot of people here would be part of businesses. You might think, oh, my boss needs to retire. I wouldn't mind, it's a good business. What the hell? Doesn't cost you anything. We're not asking you to guarantee your house. So we ask for a little bit of money, to cover their legal expenses. But other than that, you get potentially a large portion of a business that you've been working in for a number of years, and you can, see where you can take it. It gives you the power to be able to, continue your journey into the future. We're not advisors, so we're not going to tell you how things are done. We can tell you some criteria with which you need to fit, but otherwise we leave it to you to negotiate to make those deals happen. We can provide you with people to talk to, but we are not going to advise you on the deal. But we'll help you reduce the friction, reduce all those complexities that naturally will come when you try to buy a business. So look, I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm a few minutes short, so I don't know if anyone has any questions, but otherwise, look, thank you. And if anyone hears of a business that people want to transition out of, please, my details are, ask Steve, our fearless leader over here. But yeah, I'm happy to love to help anyone and everyone.
Good afternoon, David's my name. Just explain how you're clipping the ticket. Are you taking equity in the...
Yes, so we take equity for arranging the whole thing and providing the surety.
Right, so just share that and how that
So,
works.
well, that's a negotiation at the start. So we will go in at the start with the company, with the management, and to come up with a small amount that each person will put in, $5,000, $10,000 to cover all the legals, etc. And depending on how much equity they believe that's worth and how much we think, we will go pro rata with them on the upfront fee, and then we'll take that equity at the end of the transaction.
And the owner of the business gets paid out when?
Between 3 and 5 years. So depending on the multiple that's paid.
That?
Sorry?
And you're guaranteeing
Yes.
that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we're providing a surety against that.
I'm not a...
Yes.
I was at the back of the class in English, so what's the difference between
There
a
is
surety
none.
and...
There is no difference.
Right.
So we have insurance and then reinsurance against those transactions.
And what determines the 3 to 5 years between...
Multiple of EBITDA generally.
The owner payout?
Multiple of EBITDA generally. That's paid up front.
So the higher the EBITDA, the shorter the...
Higher the EBITDA, the longer it takes. Because the business pays the vendor in the end. Okay, so you've got a company, they're doing 2 million EBITDA, it's negotiated on a 4 times EBITDA multiple. Therefore,
Why 4?
I'm just pulling a number out of the hat.
Right.
We wouldn't look at a growth company of that might want 10 times or something. It's not within what we're looking for. So that provides generally they will be, if it's 4 times multiple, then you're looking at probably about 5 years to pay it down. Can be shorter, depends on the performance of the company.
Right. Thank you very much.